Hello everyone. Today's session is about software testing concepts. This video is basically intended to for those who are trying for software testing jobs and those who are recently passed out their graduation and wanted their career to start in software testing side. So there are many institute they can go and learn all this, but those who cannot go for institutes and they want to learn on themselves, so this video is focused on that and will help them to understand overall the concept and industry practices, what the software industry is practicing on the testing side. I'll try to cover all of them in the this session itself, and I'm going to split this session basically into part wise, so that I'll try to keep 20 to 30 minutes video, so that anybody wants to go back and learn particular to that topic, they can do that. So let's start. Once again, welcome. So testing is a basic for any software. So we all know that without testing cannot be, there is nothing without testing. We cannot release anything, I mean to say. Actually, even when mom's cooking, right, before she serves to us, she will basically taste the recipe, right? So that is called testing. Means before serving to the family members, she will test herself by whenever she adds some ingredients to recipe, right? Suppose if she is making some sambar, what she'll do, she'll add chili powder, rasam powder, salt, vegetables, things like that, right? So whenever she adds something to that, basically she'll test the quantity and the amount of salt she has put. If it is more, she has to increase water. If it is less, she has to make sure that the salt amount is correct, chili is correct. It should not be too spicy, it should not be too less spicy also, right? So before she serves to us, she will taste the recipe. The taste is called testing, right? So even it applies for software also. So any software that we are using nowadays, any software you take, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, so in your mobile also there are so many apps, right? So before release to the end user, there are some activities which within the test they'll do that and release to the production. There is nothing without test they can release. That's what I wanted to tell you, the concept. So this all good when it comes to testing, but we cannot generalize the term testing, right? There is a step-by-step activity which we have to follow. For those who do not know what is SDLC, software development lifecycle, when we say software development lifecycle, testing is part of the software development lifecycle. If you are new to this video, I have already made a session on that SDLC. Please go through that. I will also give you the link after this session. So the SDLC, it has a section called testing. So when it comes to testing, we have to go by the process, that is step by step we have to follow the process, right? So till now we are talking about what is testing. We are telling about a testing. I have tested something like that. Even see when we are removing the bulb and putting the new one, what we do, we'll try to switch it on and switch it off, right? We'll see whether electricity is passing to the bulb, and when we pressed on, it should get light up. When it's off, it should switch off, right? So that is also testing. that is also testing. But here we are not following any, step-by-step process or nothing like that, right? So when it comes to software testing, we have to go by the process, we have to go by the step-by-step activity. Each testing in the software cycle, it has its own scope and limitations and objective. Okay, so when we test the application or when we test the software, I cannot say okay, I logged in, I did something like that, right? I cannot say that. I have to go and detailed level of testing is required. That's why tester is needed. It's not that easy, like you switch on, see whether bulb is lighting up, or switch off whether it's switched off. It's not that easy. The tester job starts from switching on the switch till the electricity pass through the holder, then holder pass that electricity to bulb, then bulb through what you call that filament, till that activity tester will do. So it applicable for software also. So when I'm saying Facebook, I'm testing Facebook login, right? What tester basically will check? The tester will check each and every field which are available in this page, right? There are many. This is called combo field, this is called button, this is called text field, this is called button, this is link, right? Every field which are available in the page, the tester is going to test it. Why tester is testing the every field which are available in the page? Why? The reason tester going to test this application to make sure that, suppose if I am clicking on the combo box, whether I am seeing the dates, right? The tester will verify by doing something the intended functionality is working or not, right? Otherwise, the tester will also test whether the proper navigation is given or not, whether proper validation is given or not, right? Whether it's whether the application is intended to do is functionality or not. The basic tester job is to make sure that all these available, whatever he sees on the page, is going to test it to make sure that these all the components individually are working and it's fine. That's the tester job. So what we can say, the definition of testing is executing the program with an intent of finding the defects, right? For example, I'm giving valid username and valid password. I'm trying to click on the login button, right? Then it should take me to the home page. What if I am giving invalid username and invalid password? Then application should validate that and it should give me the proper response saying that the user is not valid, right? Something like that. That functionality we are going to test, right? And also we can say the process of catching the defects is called testing, or verifying the functionality of an application against requirement, right? Requirement is called testing. Got it? So what is testing? The testing is to find the defects, or testing is to testing is to find the functionality against the requirement. Like for example, if I say I am giving the valid username, valid password, I'm clicking on the login button, it should take me to the home page of Facebook, right? For example, if I am testing on just login button. Okay, so for example, what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to sign up without entering anything, right? In that case, what it will validate, these are all the mandatory field that you should give and then sign up. These are all I'll get in the requirement specification document. How many fields first name will accept, how many fields surname will accept, what is the number of character this field will accept. See, all this functionality we get it in the requirement document, right? So the testing means executing the program with an intent of finding the defects, or process of catching the defects, or verifying the functionality of an application against a requirement is called testing. So now, till now, we understood, okay, this is called testing. Okay, for example, testing, you can also say that, for example, you are very familiar with the testing. That means like, you basically every day you end up doing some testing actually. Whether you are using phone, right, what you do, you will charge. When you're putting cable, you'll see whether red light is on or not, whether it's blinking or not, whether the indication of charging is coming or not. Then you'll confirm, okay, it's charging. Otherwise, what you do, you try to switch it, you try to check the plug, you try to correctly insert the cable, you do all that, because you know the intent of the functionality is not working. Generally it called defect when it comes to software testing, but since you are an end user, you will verify yourself by checking all this, right? So that's the one classic example. Whatever you do, basically you do testing. For example, you are trying to start your vehicle, it's not starting. Then the next level of the thing what you do, you'll check the petrol, right? Or you'll check whether the keys are correctly inserted and it's in on mode, right? Otherwise, if it is not started for a long time, if the vehicle kept for a long time, then what you will do, you'll try to choke it and start it, right? So you know how to test the things, right? Same thing when it comes to software, you have to apply. Here we cannot see plug, vehicle, choke and all, right? Here we play around the page. Here whatever we see, we are going to test that, right? What we see generally in the web application page, we see text field, we see button, we see link, again combo, radio, right, checkbox, something like that. We are going to play around with this element to make sure that all these elements are corresponding each other and performing the intended functionality. If any deviation here, it's called defect. Defect management is a separate topic, that's also covered. I will provide the link, you can go through the link. Okay, so I believe now we all got to know that the testing, what is testing in the software application, right? So now let's touch the definition of the testing. We also got what is the definition of the testing. Executing the program with an intent of finding the defects is called testing. So the next thing is like, how many types we have in the testing, right? How many types we have? We have white box testing and black box testing, right? Generally white box testing performed by developer, that is called, in a other way it's called unit testing. Okay, and the black box testing, tester will do. Basically when we say black box testing, it involves functional testing, integration testing, system testing, end-to-end testing, user acceptance testing, accessibility testing, performance testing, right? There are many testing when it comes to black box. During this entire sessions, we are going to cover all this one by one. Let's start one by one. Now white box testing. So generally when they develop this application, right, for example Facebook application, or you say Flipkart, right, Flipkart or Amazon.in, whatever, when they develop this application, then before they release this for testing, they do unit testing. In the unit testing, what they do, they see all this functionality, all this element are properly working and responding each other or not. The basic level of check developer will do, that is called unit testing. So we are not worried for that. We are not going to be bothered on that. That is the code level they do it. Mainly in the unit testing, what they do is they cover the path testing, they'll cover the for workflow testing, they cover the loop, they cover whatever they called out in the program level, right? They will make sure that that piece of code also working properly. The code level of testing they do, that is called unit testing, right? So then let's see some differences between white box testing and black box testing. To do white box testing, the person should know the programming language. That means if the application is built on the language called Java, the person who is going to do unit testing, that person should know the language Java. Otherwise, if the application is built on the .NET technology, then the person also should know the .NET technology to do the unit testing. But to perform black box testing, the person should not know language, any language for that matter. He should know the functionality. You should know, okay, the person who is going to test the application, right, that person should know the functionality of the application rather than the language of the application which is built on using that language, right? Generally, white box testing will be conducted by the developer and black box testing conducted by the tester. Okay, and tester need not to know about the language. It will not required to know about that. The only thing the tester is required to know is about the requirement. Okay, suppose I am testing the Facebook application, right? So I should know, I should have the valid user to perform the operation within the Facebook. Once I provide the valid user, this login button should take me to the home page of the Facebook. From there I should connect to the friends, I can search for friends, I can tag, I can text, I can do lot many things within the Facebook, right? I can post some videos, post some pictures, and I can go live with the Facebook and all that. These are all the individual functionality which Facebook is offering. That is called the requirement. The person who is going to test the Facebook, he should well aware of the functionality and the offering of the Facebook. Then only that person can test the Facebook application correctly. But while testing the Facebook, the person need not to have the language grip, need not to have the language basic or whatever. You should not know any language at all. Only you should know, you should familiar about the requirement, and you should familiar about the performing the task within the application. Similarly, any application you take, for example, if I am testing the Flipkart, what I can do, suppose I am testing for a mobile, right? I can go, I will search mobile. If I don't find anything here, I will search here. I should know where to search and what to search and all that, right? If I don't know this functionality, I cannot test this application, right? Once I got the phone, what I do, I'll go and I'll click on, I'll see whether the corresponding mobile is appearing or not, and I can see the specification. Then I want to buy this, then buy this, or add to cart. All that, this functionality I should know. I don't want to know about the language which is used to build this application. It can be on any language. I don't want to learn that language. I want to know how to test this application. How I am testing, I will for example, I am buying phone, I will search the phone, I'll click on buy now, I'll go to payment page, I'll giving the payment details and all, I'll click on buy, right? Then next step is the courier and things like that, right? This functionality I should know. I don't have to know about the language which is used to build this application, right? So that is what it is. So tester need not to know about the program language, but he should know the technical specification of the application and the functionality of the program, right? Clear? Okay, this all comes under testing types. We have Whitebox testing, we have Blackbox testing, but tester roles will be on the Blackbox side. Whitebox generally we don't do. The unit level of testing developer will do. To do unit level of testing, the person should know the programming language and skill, right? So let's talk about Blackbox testing, right? As I said, Blackbox testing will have the different types of testing. We'll have functional, integration, system, end-to-end, and user acceptance, like this. Let's discuss all this one by one. What is functional testing, right? What is functional testing? Test the functionality of the application is called the functional test. What is the functionality, right? Suppose if you are going on the Facebook, see, we have many elements, web elements here, right? This is the functionality, right? Suppose if I am clicking on the text bold, it should accept whatever the text I enter, right? If click on combo, it should give me the list of values. If I click on sign up button, it should perform something. I don't know whether it's error or whatever it is. It should not be in the state of non-performing. If I click here, if I see null here, then that's a defect. If I click here, if doesn't open, then that is a defect. If I click here and not able to enter anything, then that is a defect. If I click on login, it will not do any action. It will not move at all. It will not click on the server, then that's a defect. If I click on any link and it's not performing, I'm getting 404 or whatever, break the page not found error, right? So that's a defect. So the functionality of the page, and how I test the functionality, I see whatever element present here, right? I'll try to perform on something on these elements, and I will make sure that these are all in working condition. These are all the fields are in working conditions, right? I'm not directly going to see, I'm directly going to create the user and see the functionality. I'm going to test each and every element is performing, each and every element is operatable, right? So I'm going to see that first, that functionality first, then the requirement part. Then the requirement, what requirement says, try to create a user, right? This is the requirement. Then you create a user and see whether you are able to create user or not. That is different. But when it comes to functional testing, functionality of the application testing, then the tester should make sure that whatever the elements available in the page, whatever the page, suppose I am here in the Flipkart, so these are all the web elements, right? I'm going to see, okay, if I am able to check this or not, right? I'm able to do that. If this is not operatable, then that's a defect, right? Likewise, the each module, each link, each, suppose I am clicking on something like sports shoe. If sports shoe, this page is giving me 404, or if it is a broken link, then that is a defect, right? I'm going to perform and see whether each and every element is clickable, performable, and operatable, right? That is called functional testing, right? There's a difference. When you are testing the requirement says, hey, create a user in Facebook and see whether user is able to log in or not. Then your scenario is different. What you do, you are trying to sign up first, you're trying to give valid information first, then create a user. With that user, you try to log in and see whether that user is able to log in or not. That covers your end-to-end functionality. That is different. But before do that, before you get into adding the user, try to see whether the available web elements are operatable, right? That is called functional testing. You are going to see the pages which are providing all these elements are clickable, operatable, performable, right? That is called functional testing, right? So then I think we are clear on the functional testing part, right? Let's move on to integration testing, right? So in integration testing, what we do, test the data flow between the modules is called integration testing, right? Test the data flow between the interfaces, or let's say you are entering something on A that will carry to B, that is called integration testing. For example, if you go to Flipkart, right? So here in this page I am able to see some product, right? And if you see left side, you have some discount, right? Suppose I want to see some 30% discount, right? Your page remains same, but if you see, these are all moved to 30% range. That is called integration testing, right? The page and corresponding page value will be passed to the next page and you get the resulted area. For example, this is the first page, right? And you are passing some additional value. Now these two pages, this section and this section, are integrated. Now it's integrated and you are getting some result on this. This is called integration testing, right? So if you're trying to do a test, and you're trying to get the product which has 30% discount, and you're clicking on the 30% discount section, if you don't see the 30% discount here, then that is called defect, because the integration between this page and this page are not there. You're trying to get the 30% discounted product, but you're not able to get that on the page, then that is called a defect. Now since the 30% here it's working, you see the product which was 30% and more than 30% discount, right? So suppose I got 30%. Now let me see only blue color, right? If I see anything other than the blue, then that is a defect, right? Here white is there but blue also there. Okay, we have to be very cautious what we are getting, right? So I mean to say, integration testing is something, the value will be carried forward into the next module. The value which we enter in the module A will be used in the module B, right? Here this is the module and this is the value that we are getting from the B. Think like that, then the result we should see. If you don't see the result, then that is called a defect. Getting? So this is called integration testing. Let's go back to the functional testing. Functional testing, in the functional testing we are going to verify the each and every web element which are available in the web page. In integration testing, we are trying to pass some value from page to page, or module to module, or interface to interface, and see the resulted area, right? That is called integration testing. So in integration testing we have two types: non-incremental integration testing and incremental integration testing. So suppose if I say I clicked on 30% and I see some result here, right? What this is called? This is non-incremental or incremental? This is incremental testing, right? Incremental, because the value I entered here, I get the resulted here, means the value is carry forwarded to the next module or next page, right? That is called incremental. Then you might ask question, then what is non-incremental, right? The non-incremental is something like that the page and the page values are not carry forwarded, that will be within the page itself. What that means? That means if you take yahoo.com or gmail.com, okay, not google.com, gmail.com. You will log into the Gmail, then you will go to compose Gmail. Okay, you will log into the Gmail, you will go to sent items. Okay, you will go to trash items. Okay, so this is you cannot increment and see these are the section within that you can perform many things that is there, but these are not incremental. Incremental means you have to pass some value. The value from the page A should be carried forward to the page B. Then only the entire flow completes. But to compose mail, you don't have to take something from the sent items, or to test the sent items you don't have to do anything on the compose mail, right? So that is independent activity. What I mean to say here is incremental integration testing means you have to enter something in the page A and you will see that entered value on the page B. The continuation flow will be there. So for example, see 30%, immediately it's changing to 30%. 40%, immediately it will go to the 40% ratio. This is the incremental. I'm entering something in the A module and I'm seeing in the B module. But non-incremental, you don't have to do that. It's all individual component to test. Clear? So let's see. Again, in incremental integration testing, there are two types: top-down and bottom-up. So what is the top-down? For example, I select this product. Right, I'll select this product. I want to buy this product. What I do, I'll select this size, then I'll click on buy now. After buy now, what it will do, it will take me to the payment section. In the payment section, I'll select cash on delivery, or I'll select payment option like net banking. I'll select everything here, right? So this is called bottom up. Means from child I'm sorry for that. So here we cannot say what is top down and bottom up, right? So generally the concept of integration testing, where we say it's a top down and bottom up concept, right? So the module tested from parent to child, that is called top down. Here the module is tested from parent to child, and in bottom up the module is tested from child to parent page, right? So generally there are scenarios. The application navigates from main page to subsequent pages. In that case, you can easily say it's a top to bottom, top down approach. Generally, when flow will be like you have to do something in the child page that will result in the main page. That approach is called bottom up. I'll try to give the proper example in the next session, but here what I'm trying to give, it's not either top down or not a bottom up, it's sandwich. We have a sandwich testing that is called, it's a both. It has both way of doing it. How we can do it? You can have here all this element work as a once we end up this page, right? Here if you see, there are further options are available. User can go for cash on delivery. Again, if selects net banking, the net banking flow will come. Again, if he selects credit card flow will come, things like that. So we cannot generalize this, what is top up here, what is bottom up here. But there are applications which actually starts from the parent page and ends up the child page, and it actually starts from the child page and ends up in the parent page. If anybody watching this video, they can, if they have knowledge on the application, what I'm saying now, top down and bottom up, they can comment it and we will discuss further in the next section. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. Then next session we will discuss about these two concepts, then we will go to system testing part 2, right? And I hope this will be useful and helpful to you guys. If I get further comments, we'll move on to the part 2, and similarly whoever watching this, give me this example. Thanks for watching.